everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup. And no, I'm not just trying to be over dramatic with the title. It's looking ugly for Jordan Henderson, man. It's looking ugly in the sense of I don't like how this situation's playing out. Now hear me out before you unload your rage, because I'm actually not even directly having a go at Henderson. I'm just explaining my perception of this situation. So let's just break down the sequences for those who don't understand. Jordan Henderson comes back in the greatest shape that we've ever seen him in. Everyone gets excited, like, oh, Henderson's going to come back. Henderson's looking rejuvenated, and it's always good to see this and this, that, and the other. Literally 2-3 days later, Steven Gerrard, who recently goes to Saudi, now wants to buy Jordan Henderson for his team. They offer him $700k a week. The only issue is that that team isn't one of the top 4 teams in Saudi. Therefore, they don't have the transfer budget, maybe the wages, but not the transfer budget flexibility to be able to go out and just spend however much on players. Therefore, Liverpool and them are still in the midst of discussing of an agreement of a fee. However, the personal terms have already been agreed. So what this then caused was a divide between the fan base of some people saying, well, he's already agreed to go, so now he's already prioritised another team over Liverpool because he's already signed the contract, pretty much. All we need to do is agree the fee and he's gone. And then some people are saying, well, it's big money, so anyone would take that opportunity and this, that, and the other. Now, there's right points in both, but then at the same time, you've got to look at the situation. You know, what I see, when I see Henderson in training now, or pictures of Henderson, he doesn't quite look the same. And I don't like doing this to people where I'm like, oh, you know, they're feeling sad when they're not. He might be completely fine. He just looks a little bit more dejected than usual. And maybe it's a combination of things. Maybe his head's all over the place, that he's just received the greatest offer that he could ever imagine for a player his age and just a player of his quality. I don't think he would have ever expected that from being a youngster. And then next thing you know, not only are you getting attacked, by fans who are angry that you've now agreed with a different club before we've even agreed a fee, but now you've also sort of angered, a whole group of people that, in terms of campaign-wise, he was supporting. So again, I don't always think it's good to me. He's agreed to go and play in Saudi. He's not agreed to go and, get involved in any campaigns there. But the reason why it's looking ugly, in a brief explanation, is just because I just don't think Henderson's quite happy with the situation, and I do think he wants to leave. I think that money is something that he's really going to find hard to turn down, and if he doesn't end up getting the deal done, I think he's going to be very disappointed, because I think he knows that, if he agrees a 2 or 3 year deal, that's life-changing for him, his family, and, I understand people say, well, how much more rich can you get? But if you understood finances, you'd understand that's amazing, regardless if you're already rich. I mean, bear in mind, it's not taxed. 700k a week, not taxed. He's getting 150k a week and 50% of that's taxed. So even though it's still great money, 75k a week, fine, but to be able to set up families and, your kids and all that malarkey, I think that's massive. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about the Jordan Henderson situation. What side are you on? I sit on the fence of, if he's agreed to go, I don't know why he should still be our captain going forward. Not that I'm angry at Henderson. Again, I understand it. But if he believed he was good enough to play in our team, which he must do because he's still here, and, he's been fighting for verbally for a place in the first team and starting 11, the reason why that matters is because now he's got his perception that he's a great player, but yet he's still agreed to leave us when we finished in Europa League with him in our midfield. So if you believe Henderson's still good enough to get us back into top 4, and he believes he's still good enough to get us back in top 4, well, now he was going to leave us high and dry in the Europa League. That's the way I see it. Gerrard, when he was going to go to Chelsea, and even though that was horrible and it was a direct rival, so that's not good, but there was no Saudi then, therefore Chelsea was literally what Saudi is now in terms of financially benefiting players. That's the best place that you can go, the same way Chelsea was the best place you can go. The difference was we'd won a Champions League with Gerrard amidst all this talk, and of course a few other altercations where certain people got involved and Gerrard just probably didn't want to go no more. But the point is that we've been angry in previous situations. When Coutinho caused up a fuss, we were angry. Chan angry, Gerrard angry. Now Henderson hasn't caused up a fuss, but he's agreed to go, and that's a factor. And he doesn't look best pleased in training to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you might see it differently, but I think all that matters. So I think it's time his 12 years, 12 long years is now coming to an end. I hope it does get over the line. The update now is that El Ettifaqui are looking to propose an offer in the next couple of days. So Liverpool, the player, I'm sure they're quite confident that they can get the deal over the line. The reason why I think this is good is because it reinforces the agency to go and replace Henderson. And even if it's not someone who you perceive as good as Henderson, I'm sure it's someone with a higher ceiling. And I don't think Henderson's been playing at a standard where it's going to be hard to replace him anyway, to be honest. Whoever comes in, they might not be a league-winning midfielder, because again, we don't tend to sign league-winning players. It just seems to be all development right now. So if we're in the development stage and we go out and buy a person with a higher ceiling than Henderson, I think it's worth time, providing more opportunities to Curtis and Bajcetic and all these younger players, opposed to just giving Henderson games because he brings leadership. And he's certainly a leader, but I think it's one that we can do without. I think the greater good here is that we'll be freeing up 150k a week wages, and he's going to get the move that he wants. Let's be honest, chat, you can't call me horrible for what I've just said, because Jordan Henderson wants the move, so why am I going to now say, no, he's not going to go, we're forcing him out the club? He's already agreed before we agreed the fee. That matters. So that's the only reason why I wanted to raise this topic. But then I also wanted to touch on who is going to be that replacement. Who are you happy with being that replacement? I've raised names like Edson Alvarez. I've raised names like Palhinha from Fulham, and I think these are great individuals who would improve our team in the short term. And then if you wanted to even add, say if you got Amrabat and Lavia, or Palhinha and Lavia, you're not breaking banks for those players. If you're getting 40 mil for Fabinho and Henderson goes, apparently fans are now telling me the money's there, but the right player's got to be there. Well, now I'm sick of waiting for these plasters to cover these wounds. I need these wounds to be covered with plasters, regardless if it's number one option or number two. We need to stop just looking for 2 seasons, 3 seasons ahead where we might possibly sign Jude Bellingham, like the way it has been over recent time. Like, oh, we're not spending this much because we've got this much away for Jude Bellingham. And then look what's happened. I think we're all happier with McAllister and Szoboszlai. I think, that's been a greater transfer window than what just Jude Bellingham would have been. So now, let's use that same identity or that same scouting that we have done so well in the past on many occasions. Let's identify the players that we need to get. And if it needs to be someone in the 30 to 40 million pound range, get that player. And if it means we miss out on a big star name in the future, then it just really is what it is. But we need to start thinking about the short term as well as the long term. And I think we're starting to do so. If Henderson and Fabinho go, that gets that ball rolling nicely. Don't fear change, embrace it. It needs to be embraced. We haven't been winning in the past 12 months. And a lot of these players have been here for a long time. It's only a matter of time before they don't play at the same standards that they have been. And they've been amazing. Henderson's been amazing. Fabinho's been amazing. They were mainstays, main parts in the team that competed with the most dominant team in Premier League history in Manchester City. Pound for pound, no doubt. They've got 90 plus points every season. The fact that we could even challenge that is something that I'm not trying to give us a trophy. I'm just simply suggesting how much of an achievement it was for Henderson from Sunderland and Fabinho, who just hasn't looked the same recently, but in his peak, very few CDMs are chatting to Fabinho in his peak. So it's recognising the importance of giving these players credit, but then also recognising, listen, they're not being too reluctant to leave, and for that, I think that's got to be a mutual thing. We appreciate what you've done, but you want to go, we now need to rebuild. Because here's the thing, we're Liverpool fans, we're in this forever. They are here for a stint. Jordan Henderson was here for 12 years, Fabinho was here for 4 or 5. Of course, we'll always be in their hearts, but we have been here from birth all up until death. We don't sign out of this, you know what I mean? They get to sign out of it. So when they go, that's their new focus. Our focus is still on Liverpool, and that's why we need to rebuild this team, because Jurgen Klopp's going in 2026 as well. I'd rather Jurgen Klopp go in 2026 and had Lavia for 2 or 3 seasons and developed him than have Jordan Henderson leave just 1 year and then you brought in some new young CDM who's only been developed by Klopp for a year. Does that make sense? But anyway, smash a like on this video only if you enjoyed it, and if you didn't like it, you know what to do. Anyway, thank you for watching. Love every single one of you, and I'll see you all in a bit. Peace.